Hello, friends. Behind many famous inventions throughout history lies a long struggle and a lot of hard work. However, there are some famous items we use daily that were actually invented by mistake. The inventors themselves probably never anticipated what they were creating. In this video, I will tell you about some of these accidental inventions. Number 7. Ice cream cones. Friends, it's hard to find a place in the world where ice cream cones aren't enjoyed. Not only children, but adults, too. Eat ice cream cones with great enthusiasm. But did you know that ice cream cones were made by mistake? In 1904, the World's Fair was held in St. Louis, USA. Some people were selling food items at this fair, including Ernest A. Hamby, who was selling crispy waffles that are now associated with ice cream cones. This man came from the city of Sham, where waffles were called zalabia. Another man was selling ice cream alongside Ernest. In those days, ice cream was sold in cups, but due to the intense heat, the ice cream vendors quickly ran out of cups. Ernest found a solution by offering his waffles to the ice cream vendor so they could sell ice cream in these cones instead of cups. People loved this waffle ice cream, and thus, the ice cream cone was accidentally invented and is now enjoyed worldwide. Number 6. Tea bags. Friends, tea bags are used in households all around the world, but their story is also quite interesting. In 1903, a man named Thomas Civilian sold tea leaves and coffee in America. He used to send tea leaf samples in cans to different shops. One day, he realized that it was too expensive to use cans for this purpose, so he started sending tea leaves in small hand-sewn silk bags. Gradually, these tea-filled bags gained popularity and eventually became the tea bags we know today. Thomas likely never imagined that he would accidentally invent tea bags. The tea bags we use today are made of different materials, and modern tea bags were invented by a man named William Hermanson. Number 5. T-shirts. Friends, T-shirts were actually made for bachelors. In 1904, a company called Cooper placed an ad in a magazine introducing T-shirts to the world for the first time. Back then, T-shirts were called bachelor's undershirts. In that era, people primarily wore shirts with buttons. If a button broke, women would sew them back on at home. However, for those living alone, sewing buttons was a major issue. Cooper targeted these individuals and began making T-shirts to eliminate the need for sewing buttons. The company likely never imagined that T-shirts would become so popular worldwide. Number 4. Ice lollies. Friends, we all love eating ice lollies. They're sold as famous ice cream brands and also in the form of ice balls. But an 11-year-old boy accidentally invented ice lollies. In 1905, young Frank Epperson was playing with a stick in his backyard, mixing a drink with water. The temperature was below freezing, and he left the mixture and stick in the glass overnight. The next morning, he discovered the frozen mixture, which became the world's first ice lolly. 18 years later, Frank started selling his frozen soda water on a beach in California, where it was called Popsicle. In 1925, he sold the rights to Popsicle to a New York company, Joe Louis, and thus ice lollies, or ice balls, became famous worldwide. Number 3. Chips. Friends, we enjoy potato chips. Fried potatoes were eaten with great enthusiasm in a restaurant named Saratoga Springs in New York, where a chef named George Crumb used to work. A particular customer would often trouble this chef. Whenever this customer came to the restaurant to eat fried potatoes, he would send the plate back to the chef, complaining that the fried potatoes were too thin and overcooked. One day, Chef George Crumb became angry, and to take revenge on this customer, he cut the potatoes extremely thin and fried them for an extended period. He then added a lot of salt to them and sent the dish to the customer. Surprisingly, the potatoes made in anger turned out to be very crispy, and the customer loved them. He ordered more, and thus, potato chips were invented. In that era, these chips were known as Saratoga chip. Today, the world enjoys the chips created by Chef George with great enthusiasm. Number 2. The microwave oven. Friends, the microwave oven was accidentally invented around World War II. In 1945, a scientist named Percy Spencer was working for a company called Raytheon. which manufactured radar transmitters used in the war. One day, while working on these radars, Percy noticed that a candy in his pocket had melted due to the microwaves emitted by the radar. This led him to realize that microwaves could be used to heat food. He then invented the first microwave oven and cooked the first popcorn in it. Today, these ovens are used all over the world. Number 1. Coca-Cola. Friends, Coca-Cola was invented by a pharmacist named John Pemberton. He used to create medicines, but none of them were successful. When the Civil War started in America, Pemberton also took part in the conflict. Whenever he was injured, he would use a drug called morphine, and he soon became addicted to it. To end his addiction, Pemberton mixed coca and cola nuts to create a medicine, and thus Coca-Cola syrup was invented. Pemberton began selling this as a brain tonic. In those days, there was a huge demand for soda drinks, and the syrup eventually became a popular soda drink. Before his death, Pemberton sold the formula to a business tycoon named Asa Candler, who spread Coca-Cola as a soft drink worldwide. Friends, these were some of the famous things that were invented by accident. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it. To watch more videos like this, subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon so you'll be notified of all new videos. Take care of yourself.